A man wearing some sort of ski mask or scream mask and armed with an AK-47 is arrested outside the RNC. The 21-year-old was stopped because of his mask and the fact that he was carrying around a large tactical bag. Inside the bag were found the firearm and ammo. The suspect did not have a concealed carry permit in the state of Wisconsin, and, well, we really don't know much more than that. Was this guy trying to launch a copycat attack of the deadly shooting in Pennsylvania from over the weekend? But then why would he make himself so obvious to federal agents patrolling the streets outside the convention? Also notice this, that the feds were allowed to make a stop and frisk search in the first place, potentially saving lives, something local law enforcement is essentially barred from doing. And why are they barred from this easy life-saving procedure? Because of the commie wannabes down the street from the RNC. Yes, it wouldn't be an election year without BLM trying to cause some sort of chaos. Except this time, it seems that Soros and other left-wing dark money has dried up because they barely got a small crowd out to protest about a mile away from the Republican National Convention, where a man armed with 2 knives and fighting with another man was fatally shot by cops after he refused to drop his weapons and kept attacking the other man. Same thing, though, outside the convention itself, where only a few stragglers showed up to protest, including, well, this ray of sunshine.
You guys are out here on the heels of the attempted Trump assassination. Can I get your reaction to what happened the other day?
Well, it's a shame the person missed, but it's ironic that the shooter was also a Republican, and I am scared about political violence.
You're scared of political violence, but you were hoping that he wouldn't have missed.
Yes.
Obviously, these aren't the sorts of people we can have rational arguments with and come to some sort of compromise with. We must just win and govern like we mean it, which is why it's so great to see President Trump picking Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate. All the right people hate him, and for good reason. Listen to what this MSNBC guest has to say.
J.D. Vance is an opportunist. He's moved around to do whatever is in his best interest, but he's smart. And Jose, what scares me is that he, although new to government, he's only been elected for 18 months, he understands policy, and I think he'll go to places, if elected, that Trump doesn't care about in government and start making fundamental changes.
Like what? What do you mean?
So he can go into some regulatory areas that maybe Trump doesn't care about drilling or what's going on in a specific state. He can play in on policy making at a mid-level that has a huge effect.
First things first, this lady is off her rocker to say that President Trump doesn't care about stamping out the deep state when it comes to drilling or other specific issues, but at least she is right to fear that Vance brings the know-how on how to get it done. I want to read part of an X post I stumbled across, which explains very clearly why establishment Republicans and the left are so afraid of J.D. Vance. Because for the past few decades, the Republican Party and the conservative movement itself have become overrun by Chamber of Commerce interests and war hawk interests. The Post explains how MAGA departs from these failed ideologies. Quote, "That conservative movement is dead. It died because it simply didn't work, and it's a death well deserved. It died when George W. Bush, the spiritual and biological heir of the movement, launched an unnecessary war that left thousands of Americans, most of them from working-class backgrounds, dead or maimed on the streets of Iraq. It died when conservatives offered no solutions for the economic malaise affecting middle-class families aside from the standard tactic of cutting taxes, largely for those in the top 0.1% of households. It died when the GOP didn't do anything meaningful to address the crisis at the southern border or the crisis from the opioid epidemic. It died when the GOP happily supported an agenda of offshoring and deindustrialization to free up capital to return to the likes of Charles Koch, Mitt Romney, and private equity investors. It died for countless reasons like these, and it is never coming back, ever," end quote. That's what makes this new iteration of the party so exciting, but at the same time so dangerous for the regime. Hence the lawfare, the riots, and now the political violence.